So hello everyone, good evening. So happy that all of you are here. We'll give it a couple more moments to see who else joins us today. So if any one of you is here for the first time, just go ahead and type in the chat window that you're here for the first time. That'll give me a little bit of sense. So one of you already indicated. And it's nice because, hey Sergio, thank you for mentioning that. And the common goal is that, looking for peace of mind and learning how to meditate. So definitely we will, hopefully by the end of this, you will have that experience. The name Sahaja is in fact that it's something easy that is spontaneous. I see, so it's the first time over Zoom. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Hyman? I'm guessing. So first time over Zoom, but have you attended Sahaja classes somewhere before? I'm guessing in some meditation center. Great. So overall, not a new thing. So, great. So somebody, Juanita, got it. Such meditation yesterday. Perfect. Some of you are here for the first time, which is great. All right, so I think we can begin. And today, even if it's your first time, just follow along. I'll go over the overall idea, and then very specifically, we'll talk about one topic. And the one disclaimer I have up front is you don't need to remember everything I'm talking about, whatever I'm mentioning, for the meditation to work. So this knowledge verbally communicated is not what is needed for the actual meditation to work. That is a living process that will happen. So we'll dive right into it. So just very quickly, my name is Anjan Upadhyay. I'm in the technology field. I was fortunate enough to be introduced to this form of meditation by the founder when I was very young, about 8 years old. And of course, as I grew up, the importance of it became more evident, and really a privilege to be able to share it with anybody actually, and all of you today. In fact, it's quite joyful to do this. So with that, just a few housekeeping items. I know all of you are muted. I'll get to that question. That's a great question. If you have any chat or WhatsApp or whatever it is, just for the next 60 minutes, be very selfish. Just say, for the next 60 minutes, I'm going to let this be my time. So if you can, please turn it off, and it'll really help, because then your attention won't be distracted. So somebody had a question here that they're in the IT field for 30 years. Does this meditation help with the stress of the field? I can vouch for it, yes, because I am in that field as well. And we'll go into why these fields cause stress, why stress is such a common term today versus, let's say, 80 years ago. Somehow we as human beings were less stressed back then, or at least stress wasn't as prevalent as a vocabulary back then. So yes, definitely it helps. So in today's session, just a quick overview. We're going to talk about energy centers, and specifically the second energy center. What you see there as Swadhisthana is the Sanskrit name for this energy center. And we'll talk about its qualities, what its impact is on us. And then we'll actually do the meditation, and then we'll have some Q&A at the end. And let's see how we all feel at the end of it. So, in a very, very general way, this diagram, this chart, represents a subtle system within us. This subtle system, obviously, if you cut open a human being, you're not going to see this. What you will see, though, is, of course, we know the spinal cord. We will see major nerve plexuses. So with each of these energy centers, if you have any sort of a medical or a reference medically, you will realize that hey, number 4 is very close to what's called as a cardiac plexus. Number 3 is right, the solar plexus, and then this pelvic plexus, and the 7th is the limbic area. So in the nervous system, these energy centers have a place, and medically we know about them. As far as these vertical lines go, there are 3 of them. Now, of course, they are not spread out like that. This is purely for illustration purposes. So you can think of these as straight lines as energy channels. So we have these 7 energy centers, we have 3 energy channels. And all of these 3 are present, if you will, in a layered way inside our spinal cord. So the yellow and the blue, so the yellow being on the right side of our body, and the left being the left side of the body, these 2 respectively are part of what's called the sympathetic nervous system. And the central one represents the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, the qualities, if you will, of the right side, as you can see highlighted here on the chart, the yellow represents the side of our action. So whether we are mentally thinking about things, or we are very futuristic, or we are physically working on something, the energy comes from the right side. And just something to note, because it has a bearing on what topic we're going to talk about. If you notice, this energy channel begins from this second energy center. It begins from here. So that should kind of give you an idea of what kind of role the second energy center will play. Last week, we did talk about the first energy center, and its Sanskrit name is Mooladhar, which means the support of the roots. And obvious reason, because it is the basis of this entire subtle system above. And the left side, the quality of which is more of our emotions, our desires, our past. The quality of this left side represents that. So to function properly, both these qualities are needed. We need desire, we need action, we need the ability to reflect on the past, we need the ability to reflect on the future. So all of these have a bearing on our normal functioning. The problem happens when we kind of go out of balance on either side. So we become too futuristic, or we become too much into the past. And what does that mean for us? So unfortunately, with our normal awareness, human awareness, we do not know when we start going out of balance. So it becomes more of a symptomatic game, meaning that until a symptom manifests of going completely out of balance on the right side, diseases like hypertension, or a sudden heart attack, or not being able to sleep well, or there's so many different things that can happen. But those are symptoms as far as Sahaja goes, right? Symptoms of something that went out of balance a long time ago, but we don't know, so we have no way to correct it. The same thing on the left side. The left side diseases are more psychological, more mental, more on the emotional side, but also lead to things like lethargic organs, diseases like angina. So again, those are symptoms of something that was out of balance a while ago. So beyond these 7 centers and these 3 channels, right, what really powers this system? Think of what I just explained as plumbing, right? But what really flows through this plumbing is an energy that sits in the base of our spine. It sits at the base in a triangular bone called the sacrum. Now, this bone is like an inverted triangle, and it sits right at the base. And I guess ancient Greeks had some idea about this, so they called it sacrum, or something that is sacred. Inside it, there is a dormant residual energy that, when awakened, actually rises through this spinal cord, goes up, and when it reaches or crosses the 6th energy center, we spontaneously come into the state of meditation called as thoughtless awareness. So we are completely aware. I'm aware I'm talking to the computer at this point, and to all of you. You, specifically where you are, might be very well aware of what's happening around. But the mind right now, if I say, stop thinking, it's a little tough, because the mind is constantly going. But what we are saying is that because of this unique discovery of Srimataji, the founder of the meditation, you'll see her photograph a little later, it has become possible to have this energy awakened. And when this energy crosses the sixth energy center, it spontaneously brings us to that state of the present moment. And that's why the silence is important, because until we are silent inside, we are not in the present moment. As long as we have thoughts, we are either in the past or in the future. The present has no thoughts. So our entire awareness, if we are constantly thinking, is jumping like a yo-yo between the past and the future. It never got a chance to settle in the present. The hypothesis is that we are born with something that can bring us to that state. It just hasn't been triggered yet. The second piece of it is when this energy crosses the seventh energy center, which is the limbic area. This is when this was a soft spot when we were all babies. When it crosses this center, for the first time, we can start feeling this energy on our central nervous system. So we feel it as a cool breeze flowing from the palm of our hands and from the top of our head. Initially, this sensation might be limited to tingling at the tips of your fingers. Some people feel it in the center of the palm. As you can see, these energy centers are represented on our fingers and on the palm and on different parts of the body. So the beginnings of the awareness could be here, like with the symptoms I mentioned. But once we are settled, once we have allowed ourselves to be settled in the present for a while, the expected experience is as a very gentle, soft, cool breeze coming from the palm of the hands and from the top of the head. Now, the reason is that when everything is in balance, it's nice and cool, just like our physical body. But if any one of these energy centers or energy channels is out of balance, you'll feel it as a sensation on that finger, as a heat on the finger, or on the overall hand, if it's a problem with the overall right side or the left side. So that's how in real time, as you start meditating, the benefit of this meditation is that you have a real-time validation of what is your current state. And if you know what causes that, then you can start working towards fixing. And you might ask, okay, so this sounds great, why, but what's so great? Now I'm thoughtless. Okay, so what? Because thoughtlessness is your measure of how balanced this energy system is. And the reason you want balance is because that is what allows us to touch peace. That is what allows us to experience joy. And that is why this is important. This system, our system that we are born with, when it's in balance, we are naturally in a state of joy. We are naturally in a state of peace and self-knowledge. And that is why it is important. And this is something that you cannot buy. This is something that cannot be forced on you. There is no certification at the end. It's a living process that has to work out. So you might ask, what is the driver, right? What will make it happen? So since this, I'm referring to as an energy, but what's good to understand about this energy is that it's a living energy, which means it responds to our desires. So an honest desire, an honest ask to say, okay, if this is real, I would like to experience it. And then if I can validate the experience, in all honesty, I'll dig a little deeper, right? And that's all that's needed. At the core of it, this energy responds to your desire, because no power on earth can force this on you. And we'll go through this during the guided meditation, and I'll kind of reiterate this in certain points along the way. So with that being said, I'll give a quick pause. If for this there are any questions or some clarification needed, please type it into the chat area and I'll be happy to answer. And if not, we can move on. Like I said, none of what I explained right now, you'll have to remember for the meditation to work. Okay, we will move on. So today specifically, we're going to talk about the second energy center. So the second energy center, as I pointed out on the previous slide, is here. It sits here right along the waistline, if you will. And its Sanskrit name is called as the Swadhisthana. Now, what's interesting to understand about this is that the right side begins from this energy center, right side, which is of activity. So the quality of this energy center, and we later on we'll talk about what do these little petals mean. So as we go through the meditation, you'll hear me talk about, let's say this affirmation X amount of times. And all of those affirmations have a relation to the number of subplexuses or qualities, sub-qualities these energy centers have. And that's why for this one, you'll see 16. Here you'll see six petals, 16 is over here. So the point is that there is a correlation of that number with what that energy center actually does within us. Having said that, let's dive a little deeper into the quality of this. What is the quality of this energy center? Why is it important? And physically, what does it do for us? So by its very nature, its physical placement, this energy center is responsible for functioning of, let's say, our liver, our kidneys, the lower part, the pancreas, lower intestines. So it does a lot. And if you think about it, it's almost like on the physical side, all these organs are responsible for cleansing, for keeping something pure within us. So it's no wonder that, these qualities like pure knowledge, ideas, and attention, perception are all kind of the core qualities of this. The main two qualities I could say that we should talk about is that of creativity. So our creative ability is sustained by this energy center. So in creative people, what we find is that this energy center is very well developed. It's manifested, it is contributing to their creative abilities. The second part, which is the pure knowledge, we should understand that, all knowledge typically that we know of is more a mental knowledge, right? So we read a book, we gain knowledge. And in a way, most human beings, when we start going into that knowledge tends to give us ego. It tends to give us conditionings. It tends to build concepts within us. So if I am a scientist, I look at the world a certain way. If I have learned about, let's say, nuclear physics, I have a totally different perspective on the world based on that knowledge. If I have knowledge of spirituality, of a certain culture, of a certain sect, I have a perspective of that. I have concepts around that. So you would call that, in a way, very relative knowledge. It's not pure knowledge. So when we say pure knowledge, it is not something of the brain, but it is something that manifests within us on our central nervous system. So it is not that you're diagnosing it with a mental construct. In reality, your system is telling you what the problem is. And in addition, you are gaining knowledge of the self, which is the absolute. There is no relativity there. So we are all built the same way. We all have the same 7 energy centers. We have the same energy at the base of our spine. We have the same energy channels. However, based on how we are brought up, what our background is, these 7 energy centers, 3 channels, have an infinite number of possibilities of what state they exist in. So this knowledge is absolute, meaning that what I will diagnose through this knowledge on my central nervous system is pretty much the same what you will diagnose, because we'll talk about that as well, that not only can you start feeling your energy centers, but you can diagnose other people's as well. But we'll focus on ourselves for the moment. So the point of the pure knowledge is that it's not relative, it is absolute. There is no mental construct around it. And that's how it manifests. So this energy center is very, very important for us. Our attention, we listed something here in terms of undivided attention. So when we talk about attention, what do we mean by that? Attention is so important that today it has become a marketing term. Attention real estate is a marketing term. And that's what the Facebooks of the world, the Instagrams of the world are really clamoring for. However, attention is very important for our own growth. By very nature, our attention is on the outside. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be our family, it could be something that we are very passionate about, it could be anything. By its very nature, our attention goes to the outside. When this energy rises within us, it is the first event that happens in our awareness that allows our attention to come inside. And by virtue of that, the more we allow the attention to come inside, the more it becomes pure, because it is no longer bombarded by, at a very gross level, the media, the ideas from outside influences, our conditionings, our ego. It actually starts anchoring itself into the present reality. And that's how it starts becoming pure. And then what you will find is that this idea of a perception, keen intellectual perception, is a result of that, because the attention becomes so one with reality that whatever you put your attention on, you're able to perceive it very quickly without too much effort, or you can get to the essence of it in a very quick way. So that's what these things mean. When we are able to appreciate something very spontaneously, not through a mental analysis, but we see a work of art and it just immediately kind of gives us that joy that the artist put in that work. That is a spontaneous appreciation of creativity. All the beauty that's all around us in nature, an appreciation for that innately is as a result of this energy center giving that in our awareness. So that's kind of the importance of this second energy center. The first one is about innocence and wisdom. The second one is about creativity and pure knowledge. The recording for the last one is available, so if you're interested, you can go back and listen to it as well. And there's a lot more material on these energy centers on the website. And I'll pause here for a second if there's any question. If not, we'll go straight into the meditation and kind of go through it and see how we feel. Okay. So with that, for those of you who have done this meditation before, you'll be aware, or you'll be quite familiar with this hand positions on the different parts of the body. So back to the left and the right? So the left hand represents the left side, the right hand represents the right side. So if you notice, for most of the meditation, our left hand is open in our lap. Very simply, there is no special position. There's no way, you don't need to hold fingers together. It's just very simply, you place the palm of both your hands comfortably in your lap and have both the hands open. That's all. And the left hand will stay open in the lap. Remember, it's the side of our desire. So it's an expression of our desire that we want to have this experience. The right hand will first place it on the heart. And notice how in the figure, the right hand is being placed on the left side of the body. So these positions are pretty self-explanatory. The only ones that I feel need a little bit of explanation is this one where I have the pointer, which is we take the right hand and place it at the corner of a neck and the shoulder on the left-hand side. And here we turn the head to the right as much as we can without too much stress, right? So just we turn the head to the right. It's important for this energy center to open up. On the final energy center, we take the right hand and we place the center of the palm on top of our head. So where, like I mentioned, the fontanel bone area or the soft spot when we were all babies, right? So the center of the palm goes there. And here with a good pressure, we will massage the scalp clockwise 7 times. So if you're watching my hand, you will notice that from the top, I'm massaging it clockwise. So not just moving the hand, but with a good pressure, moving the skin. So I'm massaging the scalp clockwise, and we'll do it a total of 7 times. So that's all we have to do for the meditation. And I will, any questions on that or any clarifications? If not, we'll just do the meditation then. Okay, great. So remember how I said in the beginning that this energy within us is a living energy, which means that not only does it respond to our ask, our emotions, our desires, it also has the knowledge built in how to bring us into balance. So each one of us is at a different point of our journey of reaching the self. And based on that, the permutation combination of these energy centers can be very different. So how it exists within you, the state of the system, versus how it exists within me, could be very different. But because we all have this individual energy within us, it has that complete knowledge on how to bring us into balance. So where I'm going with this, which is a usual temptation for us as human beings, is that we are not to put any effort into this. So let's clearly lay out the expectations, right? So the expectation is not that, we are able to focus. The expectation is not that we are able to control our thoughts, because none of that is your responsibility, is not your job. The only ask is that we ask for this experience in all honesty, like a scientist, that, okay, if it exists, it would be fantastic if I can experience this, and a genuine desire to experience it. But the actual mechanics, the actual balancing of our system is the reason why this energy exists within us, why it has all this capacity. And we're just going to let it work it out and just stay out of the way. And you'll hear me say this a few times during the meditation. So with that being said, I hope we are all sitting somewhere comfortable. If we are sitting on the ground, that's fine. Chair is fine. These illustrations are not saying that you have to be sitting on the ground. You can be on the chair. So both the feet apart, if you're sitting on the chair, and comfortably placed on the earth or on the floor. Have both your hands comfortably open in your lap, the palm facing up. And we'll go ahead and close our eyes. And let us take a couple of moments to observe ourselves and just become aware of our current state. The point of it is, so we are alert, we are aware of how we are at the beginning, which could mean that I'm feeling anxiety. It could mean that I'm tired from all day's work. It could be that I have a lot of thoughts. It could be that emotionally I'm dealing with something. The point is not to push that out. The point is not to try and resolve it. The point is to be aware of it, to really see why at the end then the meditation is important, and realistically what changed. Because all of this is experience-based. So let's take a moment to just make a note of what our current state is. And with that, we will start working on our own subtle system. So we'll take our right hand and we'll place it on the heart. The right hand on the heart. The left hand stays open in our lap. Silently within, Here, we will ask a very basic, fundamental question, a very important question, a total of 3 times. Energy, am I the pure self? Or energy, am I the pure spirit? Either one of these two, we ask a total of 3 times. Next, we take our right hand and we place it on the upper part of the abdomen on the left hand side. So where the rib cage kind of meets the stomach, that's where we place the hand. And here we ask another important question. Energy, am I my own master? Energy, am I my own master? Three times we ask that. We'll take our right hand now and place it now on the lower part of the abdomen, on the left hand side. So right along the belt line on the left hand side. Here, remember this is the second energy center. And on the left side is that pure knowledge that I talked about earlier. So this is not something that you only do the first day you try the meditation. Even for all of us who have been doing it for many years, this is a constant ask because there is an infinite amount of knowledge that is within us about the self. So understanding its importance and understanding that your desire is important because your freedom is respected by this energy. 6 times from the heart, we ask, energy, please grant me the pure knowledge. Energy, please grant me the pure knowledge. As we ask for this knowledge, the movement of this energy begins upwards. So now we take our right hand and we place it again on the upper part of the abdomen on the left hand side. And this time around, just press a little bit with the tips of your fingers. This time around, with confidence and with in general, a good feeling towards ourselves, we say a total of 10 times. We assert something. So here 10 times we assert that energy, I am my own master. Energy, I am my own master. This energy center is responsible, or its quality is to give us the principle of self-mastery, the ability of self-mastery, which comes from the pure knowledge below it. So it's all tied together. Important thing is that for us to know ourselves, there is no third party in the middle. And our mastery over the self is what is needed for us to know ourselves. And that's what we are asserting here, that energy, I am my own master. And now we take our right hand and we place it on the heart. This time around, again with a very pleasant disposition towards ourselves, because we do not know how beautifully we are made. What is our reality? Here, a total of 12 times, we say with confidence, energy, I am the pure self. Energy, I am the pure self. The reality, the truth about us is that we are not our jobs, our degrees, our ego, our conditionings, our emotions, our thoughts. But we are something very pure, very subtle. And that self is within us. It resides in the heart, and that's why the heart is so important. So here we just assert that energy, I am the pure self. A total of 12 times we say that. Next, we'll take our right hand and place it at the corner of our neck and shoulder on the left hand side and turn the head to the right. So here, the only request I have is don't try to mentally analyze this too much. Based on the very simple premise that the present is the reality. Logically, I think we can understand that. Here, a total of 16 times we say with confidence that energy, I am not guilty of anything. Energy, I am not guilty of anything. Incidentally, when we start feeling guilty, that starts impacting this energy center. And the reason why that is more of a myth is because whatever has happened is in our past. It doesn't exist in the present. However, when we start accumulating this in our awareness, we are doing two things. One is we are avoiding facing the mistake. And secondly, we are allowing our awareness, our attention to be constantly in the past because we are dwelling on it, we are feeling bad about it. So we need to contend that we are human beings. We are going to make more mistakes. But we also have the right to face the mistake, correct it if we can, and move on. So here, for our own sake, let us say with confidence that energy, I am not guilty of anything. Just let it go. All right, so now we'll take our right hand and we'll place it flat across our forehead. Bend the head forward slightly and let it rest comfortably in the palm of our hand. And gently squeeze from either side. Here, the number of times is not important, but again, we have to say from the heart. The quality of this energy center, the essence, is forgiveness. So here, from the heart, we say, energy, I forgive everyone from my heart. Do not try to remember individual people or circumstances. That's not the job. That's not the ask. The ask is that right here, right now, while we are all together meditating, in our heart, we find the desire that we want to forgive. The rest of the work, this energy will do. But since it cannot cross our freedom, in our freedom, we have to desire that. That energy, I forgive everyone from my heart. And now we take our right hand and we place it on the back of the head. And let the head roll back, sit comfortably in the palm of our hand. Here, as a matter of protocol, as a matter of respect, as a matter of humility, we ask for forgiveness from this energy because it has to do so much. And in our ignorance, we do a lot of things that harm us, that are against us. So here, not to feel bad, but as a matter of protocol, we ask that energy, please forgive me for any mistakes I might have committed, knowingly or unknowingly. It is your own energy that is so eager to give us this experience of reality, of peace. Energy, please forgive me for any mistakes I might have committed, knowingly or unknowingly. And now we'll take our right hand, place the center of the palm on the top of our head, on the fontanel bone area, the limbic area that we talked about. And if you notice, you push your fingers back so that your palm becomes a little tight and you can apply a good pressure. Here, once again, as a reminder, our desire, our humility is important. Our freedom is important. So, in all that, from the heart, we ask 7 times as we massage or move the hand clockwise 7 times. 7 times we ask, energy, please grant me my self realization. Self realization is the awakening of this energy within us, which then leads to the state of meditation when it crosses the sixth energy center. No rush, very slowly, very deliberately, 7 times, please ask, energy, please grant me my self realization. And once you're done, let your hand just stay there for a few moments and allow your attention, your awareness to come to that point where your hand is touching the top of your head. It will naturally go there. Just let it be there. Let us all be selfish and say, for the next few minutes, I really don't care about anything else. I just want my attention to be within me. Let your attention relax and settle. And we can go ahead and bring our right hand back to our lap. Have both the hands comfortably open in our lap. The eyes closed, and we let our attention just settle inside. We have to give a little time for this energy within us to work it out. Now, leaving the right hand open in our lap, let's take our left hand and place it above the head, a few inches above, not touching the hair. And slowly move the hand back and forth and see if there is a spot where you can feel a very gentle breeze-like feeling coming from under your hand. You just see. If you don't feel, it's quite all right, but just see if you do. Depending on the state of the system, some who are feeling it might feel it a little warm initially. There's a reason for that, but for now, let us just see if we feel anything. All right, so we'll bring the left hand down, have it open in our lap, and do the same thing with the right hand. You might find if you bend the head forward slightly, it might help. And just move the hand slowly back and forth. One last time, we'll bring the right hand down, have it open in our lap, and repeat with the left hand. All right, so we can go ahead and bring our left hand back to our lap. Have both the hands comfortably open. And now, while our eyes are still closed, let us once again take a look and see how we are, how we feel to begin with. And with our eyes closed, just watch inside and see, are there any thoughts right now? We just watch. There's no effort. You're just watching. It might very well be that you're having a second, maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds of complete silence, and then the thoughts come back in. That's quite all right. Have your attention on those gaps, on those silent moments. And if you are in general feeling very peaceful, quiet, there is nothing to do except you let your attention settle inside. If we are having thoughts still, less or more doesn't matter, you will find that now you can actually watch your thoughts. Because remember, the thoughts are just coming from our past or the future. So don't fight them. Instead, just watch them. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. You just watch the thought and say, not this, not this thought. We don't get involved in them. We don't react to them. We just watch the thought and say, not this, not this thought. And gradually, we'll find that the thoughts settle down. We can take our right hand one more time and place the center of the palm on top of the head, on the seventh energy center. And just let it sit there. And allow our attention to just be there where the hand is touching the top of the head. Remember, no effort. Let your attention just relax. This energy will do its job of carrying your attention. You can go ahead and bring your right hand back to your lap. And let's be in this state for a few moments, just with ourselves and the attention inside. We can slowly go ahead and open our eyes. And if there are no questions, maybe we can begin with just a quick comment on how you feel now. How is the state of thoughtlessness or the silence inside? If you have any comments, please feel free to put it in the chat. And if you have any questions also, please feel free to put it in the chat. This is kind of that time. And I'll go ahead and try and answer. Great, great. Thank you so much. And yes, as some of you are noticing that each time the thoughtlessness keeps improving, and that is the key. Try to do the meditation every day. Now, just what we did today, the whole process, you do not need to do that over and over. So glad that you felt the coolness. Some of you are mentioning you felt the cool breeze. That's great. If for any reason you felt warm, that's all right. Give it a little time and it'll start becoming cool. Like I mentioned, this Kundalini energy within us knows completely how to make it work. Our job is to just find that time of 5 to 10 minutes to allow this energy to work on us. That's our commitment. So be patient. It will keep getting better and better. And okay, that's a good point. So if at any point, the whole thing is that our attention has to move inside. So when I say put your hand on top, when you're doing it on your own and you're trying to feel it, if you feel your arms are getting tired, it's all right, bring your hand down, because it's not about how long you keep it up here. You can bring the hand down. And the main thing is that the attention moves inside, because slowly you'll start feeling it on the palm of your hands. And I apologize if I kept the hand up for too long. I'll be mindful of that next time. But thank you again so much, everybody, for joining. We will have a recording of this available on the website where the other recordings are there. So please try to see it. And as much as you can, don't bottle or sandbox your meditation to this hour or whatever session you're attending. Meditation, you can make it a play. You can, at its very core, you just watch your attention throughout the day. Just make it a play to see, where is my attention? You'll find that when you see and you ask that question, your attention will immediately pop back inside. So just watch it, make it a play, and see how quickly the silence starts manifesting inside. So with that, I wish you all a very good evening. Have a great rest of your day, and hope to see you next week again. Take care. Bye.